Didn't you meet him or something?
No,
Or
I never met the man. I didn't really know about the guy until a couple years ago when I watched episodes of the Ex-Wives of Rock on that one TV station. And if I understand, there was a lot of bitterness between him and his ex-wife. But before we get to further details, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Music Maniacs with me, Arknoia, and YR. And tonight we're going to be discussing probably was considered one of the best-selling debut albums in all rock and roll history, Boston, released in 1977, featuring by featuring the band Boston. We know the songs like the back of our hands, more than a feeling, peace of mind, foreplay slash long time, rock and roll band, let me take you home tonight. Still played to this very day on classic rock stations and soft rock stations to be exact. We're going to be discussing this album tonight for sure. This is, of course, part of our series of influential albums that really broke a lot of ground within society as well as rock and roll. But first, we need to talk about James Kottak, the former drummer for the Scorpions, Warrant, Kingdom Come. He had his own band called Kottak, featuring his ex-wife Athena Lee, who, as you know, is the sister of Motley Crue drummer Tommy Lee. Kottak passed away this past Tuesday morning in Louisville, Kentucky. He was 61 years old, and I'm thinking maybe alcohol is the culprit here because
yeah,
for
they
one,
were,
just yeah,
um yeah, he was like on I read a thing he was like in some like rehab deal 40 days ago or
yes, I'm
something.
remembering hearing about that. Just wow.
Or, but he wasn't a who was the original Scorpions drummer?
Well, I forgot the guy's name, but remember the Scorpions go way back to the early
Yeah.
70s, way early 70s. Look at albums like Lonesome Crow, Fly to the Rainbow, way before they put it out. Records like Virgin Killer, In Trance. I don't really
Did
remember.
everybody go? There we go.
Still here, yes. Now Kotek, he joined the Scorpions later on. I guess I'm not too sure what year it was, but he remained in there until recently when he was replaced by Mickey D, who used to play with Motorhead.
Dr. Ben.
Yeah, Doctor What? Yeah.
It's he was he was hold on, let me get my microphone on
All
because I
right,
got
there.
some in.
Okay, yeah, I was having a hard time hearing you, man.
You hear me better, brother?
Lot better, bro. Lot better, man.
All right, so yeah, it was like I would say maybe I don't know. Look that up. It's definitely within the last 15 years or
All right,
20
there.
years. It's kind of it's not like it's not like 70s or 80, but he was still. I don't even think he was. I think he left the band in 2018 or 2016 too on that because, like you said, Mickey D was is he
Well, Mickey
was a
D
film.
originally, when I first heard of him, he was the drummer for King Diamond, and then later on he moved on to Motorhead up until Lemmy's death, and then later on he sat in with Scorpions on a couple of gigs, a couple of guest spots, and I guess the Scorpions decided, hey, let's have this man for our new drummer. Now, for one to understand, he was also afterwards involved with the band Kingdom Come, but apparently he had to sit out a couple of performances because of alcohol issues. And as Wire stated, he had went into rehab a long while back. In fact,
I mean,
Mark,
that's one of the. Go ahead.
Mark Kendall, the guitarist for the band Great White, issued a statement following Kotak's passing, stated that he reached out to James Kotak a month prior and he offered rehab help for free through various connections and sources. But Kottak, according to Kendall, stated that he was not ready. So obviously, the guy had obviously an alcohol issue. So, and what's kind of funny is that I remember there was an article which Kotak stated that his ex-wife, Athena Lee, was a drunk. Now, I'm sure Athena apparently got her shit together. She decided to quit drinking and be sober, for I understand the various postings that she did in the past. I guess she's married to somebody else. But many times in that show, The Ex-Wives of Rock, she stated that getting involved with James was a big mistake. But the only good thing about it was that they had a daughter whose name is Toby, who I guess is a successful underground model for various underground fashion designers. So it's hard to believe, but at the same time, when someone gets that hooked on alcohol or drugs, it's hard for them to quit. I mean, we've
I'm
seen
gonna
it
go
with
live.
various musicians and various actors many times. Like, look what happened with Chris Farley.
Chuck Green.
Yeah.
I'm gonna I'm gonna go live with the PS4 for the audio.
All right, dude. There we go.
That live effect. Give us that
Dr.
live effect.
Green?
Yeah, he does. Wire
Yeah,
likes to joke around a lot, as you know.
yeah,
Since my
underground.
last name is
Yeah.
Brown.
We're doing every color, Dr. Yellow, Dr. Red.
He
Dr.
does.
Crimson?
Oh,
So
yeah,
add a
that's
little
interesting. There you go,
Dr. Teal?
Dr. Teal. Huh.
juicy what's
Dr.
that?
Savoy Brown?
Hmm.
The Scorpions, they're getting ready to do a Vegas residency,
Yes, I hear
and
about that.
Eddie Trunk was saying that they're supposed to do particular album in full,
Hmm.
and there's a few songs that they haven't done in a long time because Klaus can't sing them.
Oh, really?
Yes, and it's
Hmm.
one of there's one song that they don't have in their set list anymore. That was a big song, but he just can't sing it anymore. It's hard, and I think it's that song.
Which one is it?
I'm not sure. I
Hmm.
mean, list out the main radio songs from the Scorpions. Obviously, they do Hurricane.
Yep.
They do throw out some other ones.
Well, they have. Well, of course, they had the Zoo. Nobody like you. You give me what I need. You
I
also
think
had.
it's no, I
Hmm.
think it's Nobody Like You.
Really?
I think, yeah, and I think it's in what album is that off of?
That's from an album called Blackout, which came out in 1982.
So I think that's what they're doing, the whole blackout from start to finish.
Hmm. That's really interesting there.
Is there a bunch of hits on there? I mean,
The two that I mentioned, of course, No One Like You and You Give Me What I Need, they're pretty good songs, no doubt about that. I remember seeing the original video for No One Like You back when MTV used to be MTV, of course. But I figured they'd probably do some earlier albums like In Trance or Love Drive or other records like Lonesome Crow, their first record with Michael
uh,
Schenker alongside his brother.
well, hold on for that because I'm trying to go live.
Hmm.
I mean, I want to save it. Hold on.
Okay.
So I have a lot to say here, Brown. Real
Hmm.
quick, remind me. Well, someone jot this down when we talk about Boston. I'm obviously going to break down the songs and everything. And Brown, you got that message I sent you on that or whatever.
Yes,
About that
yeah, pretty
area.
much, yes.
Keep on that. Between
Hmm.
us. But it's interesting talking about that. But
Yeah,
nothing bad. But um, I when we get into the Boston thing, and I'm gonna look at the news real quick.
go ahead.
I want to dive into, and I looked up some stuff on it, but the Tom Schultz tone, the guitar tone, that
Hmm.
Boston tone,
Yes.
in which I was reading up stuff. Obviously he recorded everything himself. I mean, that was
Yep.
his deal, almost like a Billy Corgan type
Yes.
deal. Did all the instrument. Almost like a Wolfgang Van Halen.
Yep.
The instruments in studio for those albums himself. But the news on that, on you closing on that, I want to throw in the um. Damn it. Yeah, go ahead, Brian, because there was some.
Well, let's also keep in mind that Schultz is also an inventor. He came up with a lot of effects pedals. He even founded a company called Schultz Research and Design, which manufactured guitar effects. I had the pleasure of trying one of them out at a music store back in the later 80s. And man, if I had the money, I would have purchased it right then and there because these things are expensive, no doubt about that.
All
But
right,
the
on the music
sounds,
news, diving
but
more than that later, but the music news real quick.
go ahead.
Keep it in order here. Oh, the Toto. If you want to look at this up around the Toto lineup. Oh,
Yes.
finish your Kotak deal on that, and
Well,
then
let me look up more on Kottak there about the situation here. Let's see. Let me look up this here. Now, Ricky Rocket from Poison already sent out his condolences, along with major other rock drummers out there, including the one with Dream Theater, Mike Portnoy, and various others there. I know the Scorpions issued a statement on their Instagram. They said, quote unquote, let me get this popping up here. They said in their X account, very sad news. Our dear friend and drummer for 20 years, James Kottak, has passed at the age of 61. He was a wonderful human being, a great musician, and a loving family man. He was our brother from another mother and will truly be missed. Rock and roll forever. Rest in peace, James. And rock and roll forever is what he had tattooed all over his back. Keep that in
yeah.
mind, folks. And also, according to this here,
Let's real quick look through the list of Scorpions drummers. Let's list them out from start to now and see
okay,
how
let me do that right now there.
it was pretty interesting. Because I know this Kotak guy, he wasn't like he was back in the day,
List
or
of Scorpions drummers.
this
Okay.
Kotak guy was like recent on that, where he was playing with them,
Yes,
10,
exactly.
15 years type
Yes.
deal, if that.
He's been well over 20 years at the band, and like he stated, he has now been replaced by Mickey D, formerly of Motorhead and King Diamond. Let's see here. The list of the drummers. Let's see what we got here. Warner Lohr, which is spelled Luhr. Kurt Gress, Rudy Landers. Let's see if I can pronounce this one. Jorgen Rosenthal, Wolfgang. I cannot pronounce this name either. It's a Dziony. Jurgen Fencher, Joe Wyman, Herman Rarebell. That's a name we best remember. He was with the Scorps throughout the whole 80s period during their Love
Oh,
at
that
First
almost
Sting.
sounds like the Spinal Tap drummers list.
Something
Yeah,
like that, yes. But only
here.
difference is,
What was their longest drummer?
um,
Year,
I,
like their longest tenure,
Tenured.
tenured
Right.
and
drummer.
SC Steve is calling for crying out loud.
No, we're not doing the drama bullshit.
Oh no, I have to decline.
Steve
Sorry,
knows
SC.
anything about Boston band. I
What
mean,
up?
I think the Hispanic community knows about Tom Schultz in Boston, and
Well,
like Ozzy and Metallica have a big Hispanic base. You know what I'm
yeah, that's
saying?
true. Yeah, that's true. And Zero Drama Broski, add me, he says. SC, that is.
All right, zero drama, brother. Go ahead. Thank you.
Okay, all right. You go ahead and add him in,
So yeah,
Wire. If
see,
you,
so you can look up the list on that, like the Boston stuff, and like what I'm saying, the band and everything,
yes.
the song, on the different songs, and then there's a couple news articles that he can help me on, or he can actually read out in Spanish and English for the audience.
Okay, there. Well, I have the wiki about the Boston album. right here on my phone here.
Borracho.
That's right. Okay, so let me see if I can add SC to the call. If you're sure you want him on the call, if he's not going to cause any
Cool. Is that
bullshit.
cool, you
What up?
Well,
as
hello
long as
there.
he, let's see, you gonna
There you are.
can you do the producer deal and read a couple articles?
I was actually going to do the typical where I'm eating in the background. You know what I mean?
All right.
Well, before anything, where are my manners? I just wanted to say good evening
What's
to
up?
the three of you. Happy New Year to
Happy
the
New
one
Year.
listener out there. Happy New Year to you as well. I just wanted to say I've been listening to you guys, the shows as of late. They've been good as usual. And I'm here to be the fourth mic. Thank
All
you.
right. All right, there. Since now we're going to be discussing the album Boston by, of course, the band Boston. Came out in 1976, still played on the
But I
radio
got
to
hold
this
on.
very day.
We got my favorite song isn't even on the first Boston album, so we
Mm.
got to at least do some
What?
honorable mentions. I know.
Yeah, we should acknowledge the other records because, as you know, all the music companies, the business always rely on
Most of
that first record.
the hits was on the first album for sure, like the whole
Mm.
album, right?
Well,
The other
well,
ones were
yes,
good, but they weren't at the level of the first one.
yeah.
Hold on, let me. There's this news deal on that. On this RP. I mean,
SC.
SC Baracho. Can you, or since you're busy, Doctor
Dr. Brown, yes.
Doctor Orange.
Oh, jeez.
Dr. Purple.
Dr.
Okay, so
Well, he'd be
what's
technically
with
Dr.
this?
Black.
Isn't
Takes
what's
black.
with this? Who's this Dennis Stratton guy? He's wanting to perform with Iron Maiden. It's on his
Yeah,
bucket list. What is
yes.
the deal?
Yeah,
Who is
he
that?
basically he was one of their former guitarists. He only played on their first album before Adrian Smith took over the following year. And I don't know much about the guy myself, other than he played on their first record. That's about it.
Dr. Agent Smith.
And that was on the.
The first album, simply
Yeah,
called Iron Maiden, back in 1980.
Well,
that
we
was
don't
on
want to call him
the.
Dr. Smith because that harkens back to the Lost in Space
Lost in
days.
Space, I was gonna say, yeah.
About Doctor.
Oh, jeez, that's
Um,
cheesy.
all right, so before we get into Boston album,
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you my favorite Boston song. And this was during a time I was listening to the CD.
Yes.
It was the greatest hits compilation because and it had most of the songs on the first album, all the hits. But one particular song stood out. And this was the time I was 15, 16, and it was summer. I
Hmm.
was out of school, high school, and my stepmother was dying in the hospice.
Oh, sorry to hear
It,
that, man.
it was in.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, my
No, this is
condolences,
long,
man.
like years ago. The story's a long time ago, but
Jesus.
this part of the song though is the beauty of music. So during that time, she was in there for a little bit longer. Because when you go in a hospice, you go in there for a little bit and you die, but
Jesus.
she held on a little bit longer. With that being said, friends, family, myself used to like stay the night, stay over, everything like that. Spend a lot of time there. Um, but I did have a CD player. Keep in mind this was, 2000, 2005,
Mm.
2006, something like that. And I did have that album, The Greatest Hits of Boston. And the song I'm talking, I mean, obviously all the songs everyone knows. But the song I'm talking about, y'all might not even know this song, Dr. Brown.
All
Can
right.
you say it though?
Yeah. What's the name of the song?
Jesus Christ.
And I believe this was on the Third album.
Dude,
Third
how is this his
stage.
favorite song and he's taking this long?
I believe this is on the Third Stage album. And if I'm wrong,
Oh my god.
I'm gonna look up the song, make sure I don't understand.
To look up the song, you don't even know what it
Amanda?
is.
I'm double
Double
checking.
checking. All right.
Well, make sure which album it's off of before I.
What's the name of the song, for crying out loud? Cut to the chase, dude.
He
All right,
doesn't
wait, hold
know.
on.
He's looking it up.
Yeah,
I
but
know.
he's looking it up. Can I give you guys my favorite Bostonian?
Go.
Joe Cronin.
Oh, I knew you were going to say that, obviously.
Well, I was
Yeah,
right.
but we're talking about favorite
The
Boston
band.
song.
The band, yes. What
I was
song from
right.
them?
And
Yep, but Joe Cronin did it first back in 2005.
the song was on
Boston
Third
was way
Stage.
before 2005.
Yep, but Joe Cronin did it before then.
The song was on Third Stage album, so I was right.
Let me guess,
86.
Amanda?
Negative, but that is a hit. See, it's not just that first album. That's why I think we need to dive into all three albums.
To the sector.
Well, he had other albums afterwards.
I know, but the first three are the best, and the first album is the best.
The
people
best.
feel like U2, Brown and Ark are dismissing and kind of shooting down the second and third album, but the song I'm talking about on the album Third Stage, let me look up the year real quick, is 1986. Cool the Engine.
Good song. Good song.
Right?
Damn good song, yes.
Yeah. Really is.
Okay, SC, can you tell us your favorite without a story?
Well, look, people say that. I mean, that's my favorite song of theirs, but that's not their best. That's my favorite. That's not their best. Probably
Favorite
foreplay
and
long
best
time.
are generally two different things.
That's my personal. Go ahead, guys.
My personal favorite is, of course, from Third Stage as well. I remember when I bought on cassette, and I was like, wow, this is one badass of a record. And everybody else agreed, because look how tremendously big that album came.
Oh, the album! Look at the album cover too.
Yeah.
I mean, look, real quick, to me, I think you guys already said it. It's the most obvious one, the best one, More Than a Feeling.
But the problem with that is that it's overplayed.
But it's the best one. When something's overplayed, it's because it's the best one.
That's true.
Yeah, but also keep in mind that's how radio programmers are, because they figure, let's keep the audience listen to the same songs but ignore all the other good ones.
Or like an alligator.
Everything has a reason, Earl.
Quick. That doesn't mean the most played song doesn't mean it's their best song. It's the most popular song. That's what that means.
Correct. That's what I mean. I'm sorry.
That's true. Yeah.
Big mix correction on that.
That is true, brother.
My personal favorite is Foreplay Long Time.
Yeah, that's a classic on its own. That still gets played just.
Overplayed. Nah, come on, I'm kidding.
I know that's actually that's.
I was going to say, what radio station are you listening to?
I'm listening to 1350 AM.
Well, obviously.
Well, AM, they're definitely not playing Foreplay Long Time.
Yeah, because that's over about the 4 minute. Because that whole track altogether is way over the 4 minute mark.
Dr. Blue, can you tell me when you first discovered the Boston, all that, Dr. Blue, and
when I discovered the band Boston?
Calling it corporate rock, and made by the industry, a band created by the industry, blah blah blah. But all their songs sound pretty much the same. Like it has that Boston sound, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's what's described on the article that I have up.
You can say, traveling over me like a damn alligator, real quick. Just like Iron Maiden sounds the same.
Mm-hmm.
All the Iron Maiden songs sound the same. Just like all the Black Sabbath songs sound the same. The other band that doesn't sound the same throughout the years is Judas Priest. But you know what I'm saying? Like all these bands kind of have, a lot of their songs sound the same.
And you
isn't a bad thing.
Judas Priest.
Judas, did you hear me doing the Grinder song
Yes,
Dr.
I
Brown. Have you
did.
seen
I
that lately?
did definitely. Yes.
What do you think about that? You doing good
Pretty
on
good
that?
there. We got to
Yep.
do it at some soon there over while you're in Texas, while I'm here in Florida. We got to definitely do that like we did with Victim of Changes a couple years ago.
I think the roads, the roads are going to freeze and everything. That's the perfect time to meet up and, you know what I'm saying, drive on the road and everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was going to say, man.
Wait, the
Sacrifice our
roads
lives
are
for
gonna
music.
freeze in Texas.
It has happened a couple of times before. It has.
Dude, what is going on in Texas, bro?
What's going on in Nevada?
Whoa, why are you doxing me?
I'm not doxing you. I'm talking about what's
Jesus
there's snow
Christ.
in Nirvana right now, where Mars Mira
Really?
lives.
What?
Yes, yes. Friend of mine on Facebook, her name is Samantha. She took a short
Well, you
video
stopped
of
her.
snow of where she's living at.
Tahoe.
I'm
No,
not too
no,
sure where it was,
no, we're
but
not giving cities out. Come
no, we're
on.
not. I know that. But
Park,
she lives
chill,
in
come on.
Nevada.
Been here long enough. Come
But
on.
she lives in Nevada, and she showed a video clip on her Facebook of snow, light snow at the area that she lives in. So I can imagine how Vegas is right now. Most likely, if we could get Mars on the call, he could probably detail that.
At the end of the stream, can we talk like 10 minutes about the monetize this?
What do you want to talk about that for?
It's been great, dude. It's been funny. Luke, when he was like, well, oh yeah, you like the Stone Cold versus Rock match? You're a loser. Well, I like the Ching Chong Makalaya versus Kong Kong Cool match. Bro,
Who?
he had me dying, bro. Rojas is amazing. Can we do like 10 minutes at the end just to
Well, we could
dedicate?
possibly. We'll tell you what. Let's after we
We're
should probably get
gonna
Luke Rojas on the call right now if you like.
we're gonna do like a 5 to 10 minute pray session at the end, yes, because the
All
show
right.
was great. The monetize
Yes.
it.
All right, there.
The wrestling show. I mean, it's getting people back into wrestling. For Christ's sakes,
That's good.
Rojas has been amazing, dude.
All right. Okay, so the Boston album came out in August 1976. It went massively big. It became one of the top-selling debut albums for the band, and probably possibly of all time in rock and roll history. Still gets played on the radio today at times, mostly classic rock stations. It was released by Epic Records, which was distributed by CBS. The album is often referred to as a staple of 70s rock and roll and has been included in many lists of essential albums. It has sold at least about 17 million copies in the US alone and 20 million worldwide, making it one of the best selling debut albums of all time. Now, as we know, it was recorded in the basement of former Polaroid engineer Tom Schultz, was also a guitar player, producer, songwriter, keyboard player, and engineer. He engineered the whole project himself. And for understand, it took about 5 years to fully complete this album to make sure. I guess what his issue is that he wants to make sure all the recordings on the album are pitch perfect. No mistakes, no glitches, no botches, no nothing. He wants to make sure that everything is pitch as perfect. Because I think he stated in an interview that he will not put out a second rate Boston album to fill the pockets of the record company or himself. And that's usually probably the big reason why it takes so long for a next Boston album to come out. And I'm thinking it was me and an old buddy was talking about that. It said that if we were to record a live album, can you imagine by the time it finally gets released, the audience in attendance will probably be old people by now.
If they're not already.
Exactly. Let alone dead. I know that it took about a couple.
Aren't you guys fans? Come on.
Well, I am fans of it. I know. I saw them in 1987 when he played at Joe Louis Arena.
Really?
Yes, I did. Yeah. They did about a 6-date tour for Third Stage the following year after it was released. They played the Joe Louis Arena. I went and saw them. Tremendously awesome show they did. Opening act, the band Fahrenheit, they sucked.
Do you remember how much you paid? The tickets?
I think it was less than $20.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how it was back then.
Of
Things are
course,
cheap.
all cash.
Exactly.
Did you get a Coca-Cola, brother?
Did he get a Coca-Cola?
Did they serve alcohol?
They did, yes. Remember, they serve alcohol, but you gotta, I guess, have your ID if you're over 21, as always. And of course, every kid out there had their parents with them as well to make sure no alcohol was given to them, obviously.
A real quick commercial brought to you by our sponsors. 2024 will be a very critical year here in this country. You and everybody else should go out and vote. Vote for Trump. Vote for a better future.
We're Biden.
Brought to you by your sponsors. Thank you.
We're Biden people, not insurrectionists. Thank you.
I will say I would like to have Trump back as president, that's for sure, because everything was running smoothly. I think we all agree on that.
I think we can agree with the song.
Who are you going to vote for?
We go with the song list of the first album, please.
Oh yeah, it starts side one. SC later on. The side ones is 3 tracks. It starts with More to the Feeling, then Peace of Mind, then Foreplay / Long Time. Side 2 starts with Rock and Roll Band, then Smokin', then Hitch a Ride, then Something About You, and then Let Me Take You Home Tonight was the album's closing track. It was about, I guess, 40 minutes long. That's how albums were at that time. Side 1, side 2, except for the double albums.
Well, it was about 37 minutes long.
Yeah. Okay, but it was around that range either way. And the first time I heard of Boston was a single, Long Time, minus Foreplay, of course. I heard that. I was amazed by the production, the sound quality, and I'm surprised they haven't brought back 45s yet. Because they're bringing vinyl back, they should at least bring back 45s. Why I don't understand why they're not doing that nowadays, since people are buying record players and you still have those little things that you put in the middle of the 45s included on them. And of course, I remember having Don't Look Back, the second record. Also had the Third Stage from '86. I listened to that. I was like amazed by everything on that record. But back to the first album, Schultz, was the engineer for the Polaroid company. He took a leave of absence from his job to record the songs that he had written. He got involved with a few local musicians. One of them, guitarist Barry Goodrow, Fran Sheehan, the bass player, and singer Brad Delp, rest in peace. He was a Beatles fanatic. He had a side project called Beatlesque that he did on the side occasionally up until his passing in 2007. And it was composed of many songs written many years prior to the first appearance on the album. Schultz wrote and co-wrote every song on that record, with the exception of Let Me Take You Home Tonight, which was written solely by Brad Delp. Played virtually all the instruments and recorded them and engineered all the tracks. The Boston sound, as SC described, combines big, giant... Hello?
SC?
SC?
SC, I'm going to send you a link. SC, I'm going to send you a link. Can you play it? Oh my God. I put it up and then I felt bad, but This isn't exclusive.
Mm-hmm. What is it?
That brother shit. Oh,
Mm. Oh,
Mhm.
all right.
Bro, shit.
So let me continue. The Boston sound combines big, giant melodic hooks with massively heavy classical inspired guitar parts. For Schultz, the idea of beautiful vocal harmonies was inspired by a project called The Left Bank, which is bank with the E at the end, and the guitar driven aspect was influenced by the Kinks, Blue Cheer, the Yardbirds. Another signature element of the Boston sound in terms of production involves the balance between acoustic and electric guitars. To this end, Schultz was inspired by his childhood listening to classical music, noting that the basic concept of setting the
yo,
up for change that is coming in the music have been explored for hundreds of years in classical compositions.
Dr. Brown. So I looked up something, and
Hmm.
I looked up like the tone, how to get his tone. I don't know. It's a lot of shit I'm gonna explain later, but
Hmm.
there's this Rockman box
Rock,
with these
the
headphones.
Rockman box. Yes, it's something
What's
like
that?
a
What is that?
well, basically it's something like a cassette Walkman, but you put it on. I guess you can plug your guitar into it, and you're able to play along with the tracks. I know a friend of mine named what the fuck?
Can't
A
hear it that
fat
good.
bastard that has gotten away for far too long in his bullshit. You wanted some? Fine. I'm happy to give it to you, you piece of shit. You're gonna come after a fucking innocent person who has nothing to do with anything.
It's like Ken and Stephen A. Smith are having a fight.
Who is Stephen Smith?
And he's on ESPN. He's like cussing and stuff, and no one's ever heard him cuss like that before. It's
Mm.
crazy. Man. He's getting this big old beef with Ken about like Ken wants to take Ken wants to take over the New York sports market. Jets, Islanders.
Mm.
Stephen A. Smith's not having it.
Wow.
Now that is a joke thing. That's come on. I'm playing.
I don't watch anybody
Get it for us one more time with that.
What's up?
Can you play that again, SC Steve?
That shit was funny. Yeah, I gotta play it one more time. I'm sorry, guys.
All right.
A fat bastard that has gotten away for far too long talking his bullshit. You wanted some? Fine. I'm happy to give it to you, you piece of shit. You're gonna come
Damn.
after a fucking innocent person who has nothing to do with anything.
Damn.
Ken's like, leave me alone. He's doing his own thing, everything with the Stephen A. Smith guys. He's harassing the shit out of him. The newest drama, the Community guy. No, I'm just kidding. Just a
Mm.
little clip deal. On that Rockman box, Brown.
Yeah. It's like basically you're able to plug in your guitar into this box, play
Right.
play into it. I guess some guy in the member named Jeff, he had one of his own. He was playing that when I visited backstage at the lounge before he went on stage with his band. He showed it to me and how it works and everything else. It's like you're able to play along with whatever playing is playing the cassette player. It's a it's a very unique device. He's also created other devices as well, like the hyperspace pedal, for instance. He, of course, he would later have found a company called Schultz Research and Design, which I stated in the beginning makes guitar effects. He often used those effects a lot of times during early concerts.
Did you see? Because I was watching some of in the mid 2000s when it was Delph and Shelf there,
Hmm.
and um, it's like a bunch of their equipment's on stage, like the modulators and the not necessarily pedals. I mean, those
Hmm.
are on the floor, but like all the other stuff, like the digital boxes and stuff. It's
Yes.
interesting. Like
Yeah.
he really had to do. It was kind of like a pain in the ass to do that stuff live because he did so much recording on the album on that with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, nobody said being an engineer is an easy job. I mean, one of the things he detailed in the liner notes of Third Stage is that when you record, apparently what it was is that the master tape for Cool the Engine, he was playing that and it just stopped abruptly because it became sticky for some reason. He had to put a lots of stuff on it to make sure that the tape was able to play through without any problem. It stuck like adhesive tape would. And apparently, a couple of times there was a few floods in his basement where he recorded that album. And let's not forget a couple of times. Well, let's get to the main thing: the lawsuit that he had against CBS. CBS sued Schultz because they were failing to deliver the third Boston record after Don't Look Back came out. Now, Don't Look Back was released a couple years later on, but Schultz stated that the songs on that album were meant for side one. It was just yanked out of his hands at the last minute because the record company was so desperate for a new album. Repeat the same thing you had before. How many times have we heard that in the past from management, handlers, and record companies? Now, sadly, Don't Look Back didn't sell as much as the first record. And apparently, CBS, in fact, their head honcho, Walter Yendikoff, was getting very hungry for that third Boston record. But Schultz was taking his time. He was having bandmate issues. At one point, Brad Delp left the band. He even tried something like a blindfold test to see which singer sounded alike as Brad Delp. He was having issues with his drummer, his bass player. Barry Goodrow got fired from the group because he put it out his solo record, which I had briefly for a while. One of the hit songs from that record was called Dreams, which had Brad Delp on vocals. It sounded like a regular Boston album, believe it or not. And I guess Goodrow got let go from the group as a result. Now, Yendikoff sued Schultz, took them to court because, as I mentioned, they were getting more late and late on that delivery of the third record. But Schultz wants to make sure that it's pitch perfect. Every song in this album would be. But that's not enough in the eyes of the record label. They want that product out there and they want that product to sell massively. That's how they always think. And I guess at one point, when Schultz was trying to explain the reason why the album was taking so long to record and such, Yendikoff said it was an excuse. And the reason for that, Yendikoff stated that when someone says, I don't have it yet, and then a few years later they say they still don't have it yet, and they still don't have it yet, a couple years later you ask them, they're either lying or they're making an excuse. That was what Yendikoff said in the interview. Now, Yendikoff would later lose his job in 1991 when CBS became Sony Music Entertainment. Schultz had the last laugh with Third Stage. MCA Records got wind of this and they decided to sign Boston.
Brown,
Yeah.
Brown,
Mm-hmm.
can we list the second album song list on the second album?
Don't Look Back.
Yes.
Okay, let me look it up there because it is a good album. I will say there. It's sad that, in fact, it fits to say that Don't Look Back is probably one of the most positive, motivative songs that the group has ever put it out. Let me look it up here. Blah, blah, blah. Give me a couple of minutes. Don't Look Back. Okay. Came out in 1978. And of course, the tracks on the album, of course, the title cut, The Journey, It's Easy, A Man I'll Never Be, Feeling Satisfied, Party, Used to Bad News,
Damn.
and Don't Be Afraid. Now, A Man I'll Never Be is probably one of the most touching songs on that album because it's probably one of the most, no doubt, it was a very powerful rock ballad, definitely for sure. And like we stated, it failed to sell the same amount as the first record because, as we stated, it wasn't completely finished yet. All right. Where's SC? Is he still on the call? I guess.
Yes.
Apparently
All
not.
right, there you
Oh,
are.
he is.
All right, there you are. What do you have to say about this SC with the info that we're giving you?
I have to say that you know your shit, bro.
Yep.
You know your shit. They say that the brain has much more of a capacity than the most up to date computer there is.
Yep.
And you're
Our mind.
proving it here right now.
In a second. I remember reading interviews from musician magazines, this magazine. Remember hearing from MTV News when I was a teenager. I absorbed all that and I kept that in my memory for many years. When YR came up with the idea of us doing a music show back in 2020, it was my chance to release this information out to everybody out there watching. Make rock and roll your drug of choice, people. Believe me, you'll
Make
get
rock and roll
20.
great again. How about that?
What up?
Make rock and roll great again.
Absolutely. Because at this point, the rock and roll that's out there is, eh, needless to say. I mean, like, this Italian group called Main Skin. Have you ever seen them, SC?
Yes.
Are they from New York?
No, they're from Italy.
Oh no no. Yeah, Italian New York's, you know.
Well, actually, I don't know, the male members of that group look kind of queerish, except for the bass player. She's kind of hot. She's a female, and she's been known
Hey,
to play on stage with just nipples on her,
No,
with just
no, no.
what?
Brown, listen,
Jeez.
Brown, listen.
thank you.
Okay.
Thank
What the fuck just happened?
I don't know. I'm asking myself, man.
you. Rewind it. Rewind the
We
stream.
didn't hear you. Okay.
Okay, fine. I was trying to describe the bass player, what she often wears on stage at times.
Tell us.
Alice. Alice? No, her name is
Tell
Victoria.
us.
Oh yeah,
Tell
she.
us.
Okay, I thought you
Tell
meant.
us.
Yeah, well, there. Okay. She's a couple times at for some festival. She's often appeared on stage playing her bass topless with two X's across her nipples.
I'm for that.
So am I. What guy isn't? All right, so the Boston album, Don't Look Back. My personal favorite from that album is, of course, the title cut, The Journey, A Man I'll Never Be, Feeling Satisfied. Those are my favorites from the album, no doubt about that. My favorites from Third Stage have to be, of course, The Launch, Cool the Engines. What's that one? Oh, I Think I Like It, Can't You See? And of course, the closing track, Holly Ann, about Woodstock, the first Woodstock festival, I should say. Now, I also want to let's keep in mind that the song Amanda from Third Stage became a massive big hit when it first was played on the radio back in '86. Radio stations were like going crazy. And let's also keep in mind that Schultz is considered the king of analog recording. And analog recording is where you record some guitar bits, some drum bits, keyboard bits over the other recording that you recorded previously. It's like adding on to the recording, if I'm correct. Schultz has been known to do that throughout his whole career. No synthesizers have been used on their albums. In fact, if it's to say that the beginning of the launch, which sounds like of some sort of a beep beep boop boop boop, that was done on the organ with a little echo added onto it. Now, let me say this, and I'll state this loud and clear. You could possibly call Schultz every name of the book, but you cannot say he don't know how to put out a damn good record. No doubt about that.
What were some of the criticisms, brother?
About Schultz? Well, some say that he was kind of like a fascist in a way. He was like a dictator according to ex-members. I know him and their ex-drummer Sib Hashian. They had a big falling out during the recording of Third Stage a few times. In fact, I see if you could find it on YouTube if it's still there. Barry Goodrow and Sib Hashian doing a car commercial for a local Boston TV network. Let me see if I can find it on YouTube right now. Blah, blah, blah. Give me a couple of minutes. I'll let you guys chit chat.
I do have to say that as of late, Luke Rojas has been killing it. He is funny as hell. I think the other day he was like, Joe, you know, basically I'm the son that you've never had because, what's the older son's name? I'll just say Tom, because Tom really isn't like you. He's more like Leah, but he's probably jealous because I'm more of a Cronin than he is. And for real, like, he groomed Rojas, bro. I think Luke should be called Luke Cronin. Luke Cronin should have his titles by now. Cronin, what are you doing, bro? The guy has gotten you thousands of dollars, and you can't send him both titles, bro? Come on, man.
I think
you know why Cronin doesn't want to send it to him?
Why?
Because he has lost trust in previous owners, and he's like, fuck, I can't give it to Luke. I can't. The kid is good, but I just can't.
In owners,
and that's why
meaning
he hasn't sent it.
In terms of owners of the belts that he has created?
Champions. Champions, the previous champions. Because look what happened with the skinny dude.
S.
The guy
Dollar?
that's in the military. No, well, him too. The guy's in the military. What's his name?
Joe Compton?
Yeah, him. And then the other Texan dude, I think his name was Texas. Big Texas or some shit like that.
Big Tex, yes.
Him. I mean, and so Cronin is like, bro, I can't do it. He's afraid that Luke Cronin will go somewhere else with it. But dude, there are no other shows right now, bro. No drama.
Let's not forget S. Dollar holding on to that title for ransom. As long as he did, yeah.
Sigmogaloids, can we stick to the topic, please? Thank you.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Okay. I'm going to play for you a commercial that Sid Hashian and Barry Goodrow, they did this card commercial about 17 years ago. I'm going to play snippets for you right now. Check it out.
Hey, thanks for helping me out, Barry. This shouldn't take all that long. All right, Sid, what are we up to this time? We're going to take a drive down to Ernie Bark Jr.'s New to You. Oh, yeah. And you're going to help me look at a nice little car. Oh, great. Okay, let's go. We're here. There it is. Barry, wait right here. I'll be right back. Oh, let's kind of leave him on. Barry, we're all set. What are we doing? You gotta do me this one last favor. That's all I'm asking. When you put this mask on so we don't get recognized. That's all. What are we doing? Come on, we're gonna hear that bing bang. We'll be out of here. Let's go. Hey, Barry, they left the keys in the front seat. You're gonna have to use this to open the door. You sure about this? Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
You're wearing a chicken mask.
1 year, free oil change. Power locks, power brakes, extended warrants, AC. Hold on, Barry. I don't need to steal this car. Even I can afford it. Stealing? Thought you said this was your car. That's right, Sibby. We have no mortgages because we pay cash for our cars. Our costs are less, so we can sell for less. In fact, I can make you the same great deal on hundreds of cars in this lot, or my name isn't Ernie Bach Jr. Security.
Of course, they have a female police officer, thigh highs and all. Yep, take him away. That's the end of the commercial. It's kind of awkward seeing two members of a top-selling band doing a car commercial years later on. Guys, what?
Arcadia, do you have the list for the second album?
I read it for you.
I mean, it's the third album.
Oh, third stage, I got it right here. Amanda, we're ready. The launch, cool the engines. What's that other one? Dang, come in. Son of a bitch, why did I do this? Go ahead there. Let me look it up. Okay, here we go then. Here we go. Give me a couple of minutes.
Argnelli Stroke a Kid. Can you give me your list, brother?
All right. Have it right here.
List of what?
Songs from third stage, the third Boston album.
Can we get a rewind on that?
I'm sure while recording this, so definitely kids out there will definitely rewind that.
Art.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello? Can you hear me? We hear you.
Okay, I can hear you.
That's good. Thought you lost. I thought you wasn't able to hear us.
Well, SC Steve's thing is eating. My thing is falling asleep.
I'm sorry.
My thing's falling asleep.
I heard something and it just made me laugh.
SC Ropa, can you do a rewind on that?
I think I lost it. Hold on.
Nah, it's like from a minute ago. Just.
Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Yeah. Can we get a rewind? Son of a bitch, why did I do this? Go ahead there. Let me look it up.
Quick commercial break, Brown.
All right there. This program is sponsored by what the fuck?
Here we go. Give me a couple of minutes.
Hold on, it's still playing. No, I didn't catch it because you got alert on.
It says,
please
What?
check DualShock wireless controllers is connected, and there's a sign. Yeah, we missed it.
Can we get a rewind on that?
Well, it's recorded on my end, so definitely you guys could probably check it out when it's fully uploaded later on.
Yeah, no, we don't have it.
Well, the list, okay, the
tried.
songs on third stage. Amanda, we're ready. The launch, cool the engines, my destination, a new world, to be a man. I think I like it. Can't you say you believe in me? And Holly Ann. And what was that?
SC Ropa, can you give me your opinion on the whole? Let's get the obviously the first album's better. What did you ever own any of those? Because I had the CD, but it's the greatest hits compilation.
I didn't have the greatest hits one, but I did have the first three on vinyl, except for third stage, which was on cassette.
Well, you had it on cassette.
Yeah, third stage. Yeah. Which, by the way, I think we should start bringing it back as well.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
What's so funny, Steve?
I'm sorry, but nobody heard him. That shit was funny.
What arc?
What RY said about art.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All
You
right.
can cats over there, brother?
What?
That's cutting fingers off people. Come on. Dr. Brown, what was up with that one chick? You
Which
posted on
one,
your
chick? Which one, chick?
I think she looked like Rhea Ripley.
Oh, you mean which one? The
She looks like Rhea.
Oh, you mean that girl with the tape over her nipples that I showed you?
Ah, it was like the last one. I think she looked like a nun or something. No, you posted it on your channel.
Oh yeah, the one that I posted so many gals from there. It's hard to keep track of which on which. Let me go find it.
So can you tell us how you ask these females like, hey, can I take a photo with you guys? Like, how do
Well,
you do it?
You know, I do
Are you
this.
already
what
talking
it
to them and
is
then
that
you ask for
they
the photo, or did they ask for a photo? Like,
You
how do
like
you do it?
to take a pint
it's
or half
kind of
pint?
both. It's both.
You like for me to take a half pint or pint of your blood to drink it? No, go ahead.
Oh, you mean this gal here with the who's on
Whoa.
SoundCloud?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, DJ Vane. Yeah, she's a very respected Tampa DJ. She DJ'd at the Castle a couple times, and she
Have you
should
ever
be
been to
back
the
there
castle with
DJing.
RY?
Oh, well, RY would definitely get a kick out of the Castle, that's for sure. In fact, we should probably drag Jacob RP into that joint once sometime soon.
I think he
No,
passed.
I don't talk about him, dude. I'm sorry.
Right. I won't.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I think he passed on, brother.
I think you already sucked his blood.
Anyway, so we gotta talk about the other records. Corporate America.
Monetize this championship record?
Oh, you're still on
What
that.
song there though, Brown? That were like, come on.
What up?
What songs were on there? Like, come on, man. You
Which
know?
one? The third stage record?
No, everything after that pretty much was nothing.
Well, they had an album with a different singer called Walk On in 1994, which I have heard many songs from. Pretty good as well. The singer for that was a dude named Fran Cosmo, who used to sing with a band called Orion the Hunter, which featured Mike DeRozier from Art and Barry Goodrow from Boston. I remember the song So You Ran was a big hit on radio during that year, 83. And I remember
Thank God I'll take you on like on anyone. Thank God I'll take you on. This is where I know belong.
Thank you, brother.
right?
Thank you. You guys know that song?
Not really.
What?
Well, they released 6 studio albums. They had the first record in 76, Don't Look Back in 78. 86, they had Third Stage, Walk On in 1994, Corporate America in 2002, and in 2013, Life, Love, and Hope. Right? So there you go. 6 records altogether. And what do you mention on this? See?
I'm sorry, I thought it was muted.
All right, there. So I guess the impact of the first Boston record is unanimously let me rephrase that, unanimously successful. More Than the Feeling still played on the radio stations today, a couple of times on the soft rock circuits as well. I remember working at this one place back in Richmond, Michigan, where they played a soft rock station alongside with Sheryl Crow, Michael Bolton, and of course More Than a Feeling mixed in between. I know Don't Look Back still gets played on classic rock stations as well. Sometimes they'll play Amanda or We're Ready as well on those circuits. And it's sad that the other songs from the other albums afterwards didn't get that much airplay. But then again, that's how it always is. The people usually prefer the main hits. Like, for instance, we're not going to hear Bad Company songs like Run with the Pack or Gone, Gone, Gone. We're always going to possibly hear Can't Get Enough or the song Bad Company 24/7. And see what we got here. All right, so what up?
Didn't the singer or someone from Striper was the singer, or
Not that
no?
I know of. Not that I know of. I don't think anybody from the band Striper sang with the band Boston.
Who was the replacement singer in like the 2000s after he passed?
Everything. Let me look it up right now. Boston singers. Let me see here.
Play guitar or anything.
All right, there.
You got
Brad Delp. There was Let me look up here because it's directing me towards something else. Okay, let's see. We have Brad Delp, Tommy DiCarlo, and guess Michael Sweet was. You're right. He was involved with the band Boston for a while. David Victor, Kimberly Dam, the Dahme, Demi, I guess it is. And
Damn.
what's Damn? Thank you, Kimberly Dam. Oh, damn. And of course,
Damn.
and no, that's I know that's going to be the big joke now. And of course, speaking of singers, we cannot close out the show without paying homage to Brad Delp, who in 2007 committed suicide. The recent death of Brad Delp in 2007 was ruled a suicide, according to police in New Hampshire. 55-year-old Delp was killed by carbon monoxide piped through a tube from a vehicle's exhaust pipe into a bathroom where he was found dead on March 9th, said their police lieutenant. And apparently, in his suicide note, he stated that he was a lonely soul. He also stated some other things, and which is sad because he was like one of the most unique voices in rock and roll history. And very sad, but what can you do? What can we do? I don't know what the guy was feeling. Maybe he was going
RY,
through a lot
guess
of
who's live right now?
who
Guess who's live right now, RY?
who.
Go to your channels and go refresh right now. Go check who's live.
Let me look it up right now.
Oh my god!
What? Who's live?
You want to
The
join
devil's
the?
back, brother.
Let's join RP. Fuck it. What's the problem?
RP's live.
Right now? Yeah, join the StreamYard, guys. We're fixing to end the show anyway, the music show.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are we doing next week?
I know. What do you have in mind, Ark? OR?
I have two possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Off the top of my head.
All right. Okay.
Yeah,
let's
next week on the show. Let's dive into.
And.
Okay.
And. Remember, we're doing influential albums for Music Maniacs for a while. Let's see if Wire has a good one in mind. Right there. And he left a call
I had a couple
abruptly.
of possibilities.
Right there.
Well, my possibilities were the Moody Blues Days of Future Past
Mm.
and the Led Zeppelin's first album.
Okay. Okay. We could probably take our pick up. Let's do a coin toss on which we'll possibly do a
Well,
coin
we
toss.
could do one. Okay, we'll do one next week and the other one the week after. I
All
don't
right,
know.
that sounds like a good idea. Or we could do both on the same program if you like.
They're too diverse.
All right, there. That's true there. You got to look at that. So I'd say we take a look at the Moody Blues next week, next Thursday, Days of Future Past. And the following week, we'll take a look at Led Zeppelin #1. Does that sound good?
Yeah, because both those albums spawned a bunch of great follow-ups. So
Absolutely, there. No doubt about that. All right, so this concludes our episode of Music Maniacs. Special thanks to you, Arknoya, YR, and SC Steve for being on the program with us.
even though
Oh,
they left.
I know, yeah. Well, well,
Oh well.
I know. What can you do? I'll be premiering this shortly, later on tonight. Thank you once again. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, hit that like button and notification bell, and also subscribe to Arknoya's Patreon. Go to patreon.com/Arknoya. And we'll see you all next Wednesday for the next edition of Music Maniacs. For YR, SC, Ark, and myself, you guys take care. Bye bye.
Bye.